going to start with the Demon deck. So the Demon Legion, this is going to be from both the intro deck as well as adding Ravaged Lands cards, and to show you the best competitive Demon deck that we can put together with the current cards available. Now, typically most Demon players would insist that we need to have the End of Days, which is the Demon Exalted. Now, necessarily you don't need the Demon Exalted End of Days. It helps you in some matchups, but in this build we're not going to use it with more so going to be more of a budget build. So you have to start off with a Noxalis, the Fallen Priestess. She's the only warlord currently in the game for demons until Empires on the Rise come. So a Noxalis' whole strategy and her entire deck is all about possessing your opponent's warriors. So you're going to be using your demonic possession at an instant speed at any point during your turn to be able to steal something, and that's a permanent steal. So that's something that's going to be really crucial as the deck goes on. Otherwise, you're going to have your magical attack, the Manipulation Gaze, which is going to just take control of one warrior with the attack of 2 or less, and that's only for the whole course of one turn. But once again, it's a very valuable effect with her ability right away to be able to steal 2 things. Well, we're going to start off also here with the Veil of Torment. It's the only Veil that's currently available in the game, once again, until Empires on the Rise comes out, and we're going to experiment more with other builds. But right now, we have the Veil of Torment, which is your basic Veil counters of 3, and when all 3 expire, then you're able to flip it over and reveal the basic Scorch Realm. Once again, feeding into the demon theme, the Scorch Realm is you target 2 warriors on the field, take control of them, they become a demon in addition to their other legions. And this is a permanent steal as well. So this is a huge thing. Because this is the realm, your opponent can't respond to this card. So straight away, this is something that takes 2 things, and your opponent inherently has to play around this card when playing against demons. The key crucial part is that it actually changes them into demon warriors in addition to their other legions. Noxalis does a very similar thing with her steal. So this is crucial when it comes to the fact of some cards require you to have demons on your side of the field, and it's good to note that the ones that you steal do become demons. Next, we're going to use the synergy that comes with the 2-player battle deck with a Noxalis. In this build particularly, it works better than your original with your style of strategy as opposed to the Caldera of Damnation. So this here is a target 2 warriors in the field with the current attack of 3 or less. Take control of them, and they once again become demons in addition to their other legion. You'll start seeing that's a recurring theme throughout the deck. At the end of the turn, however, the 2 warriors do get eradicated, which in most matchups actually is super beneficial, particularly in the undead matchup when you don't want their cards to go to the discard pile. The last thing here is your Demon Guardian. So your Demon Guardian, Vendetta, Sentinel of Paradise Lost. So this is the only Guardian available for demons currently in the game, but that's okay because he actually benefits the deck quite well. At the start of the game after mulligans, he lets you target 1 card in either player's hand, and they have to discard the card. So this is the huge crucial thing is inherently when you look at this card, you're like, I immediately want my opponent to go down 1 card. But at the start of the game, it might be beneficial for you to discard a demon card from your hand because you gain effects from cards being discarded by demon card effects, and conveniently he himself is a demon. Otherwise, he has his consume effect. If the demon warlord destroys at least 1 warrior by battle this turn, you can target 1 warrior on the field with the original attack of 2 or less. That's crucial. Original attack, doesn't matter if they're powered up or not. You take control of the targeted warrior, and once again, it's a permanent steal, and it becomes a demon in addition to its other legions. So as you can see just right there in your first 4 cards that actually start in play, all of them are powerful effects like the other ones in other legions, but these particularly are all about stealing your opponent's things. So when you're playing against a demon deck, this is something to really keep in mind, given the fact that your demon cards are all about stealing opponent's cards, so your opponent has to now play around that. And as a demon player, you can't devote 100% to this strategy, because then your opponent can once again just play around it, but you force your opponent to play differently. So we're going to start off with the unified cards. So first, we're going to start with Garuda's Hunger. It's the only one of in the deck. This is your Veil Pierce card. You can only activate it once per game, but once again, it either pierces your Veil early by paying 10 life, or you can just steal 2 cards. So you're going to see that as a theme throughout the entire deck. Next, you're going to have your 2 copies of Shimhaza, Rallies of the Fallen. So these 2 cards also come from your 2-player starter set. And as you can see, so far, everything is a common in this deck and available in the 2-player starter set to begin with. Once again, it's inherently very good right out of the box. So you can only play this card if you control 2 cards that were originally your opponent's. Conveniently, the cards we just went through all steal things. You search your deck for 2 Fallen Demon Warriors. Conscript the search warriors to your side of the field. So once again, that is able to grab you 2 cards from your deck and conscript them. And you'll notice when we get to the warriors that everything in the deck has an enter play ability. So all benefits off of your Shemhaz's Rally of the Fallen. Now, crucially, you only want to play 2 copies of this in the deck because it can only be activated once per turn, and you don't need to worry about having 3 copies for consistency reasons because demons have a lot of surge power. So, getting to the surge power, we're actually going to do another card here that comes from the 2-player starter set. This here is your Volak's Document of the Damned. Now, note this is not a Fallen card, so you can't search for it with Fallen search cards. However, this is a really crucial card because it can search for any unified or fortified demon card in your deck and add it to your hand. That was on initial activation. Now, it does have the stipulation that you have to discard 2 cards, but that doesn't really hurt demons when they have a lot of discard mechanics that actually benefit them from cards being discarded by demon cards. So this lets you search for any unified or fortified in the deck, which is crucial because not only for the players that prefer to play with the End of Days, this is essentially another copy of it. It searches for your Exalted. But in this build, particularly where we don't play the End of Days, this still searches you any utility card when you need in a pinch. Also, it has the discard pile effect that does the same thing for just a little bit more life. You got to pay an additional 4 life, a total of 8, to be able to search for something. But this can end games, and we've seen it before that it does so. Next, we move on to Bodis' Hellblade. And the Fallen Hellblade is actually, once again, a unified card that comes in the 2-player starter set. This is an active, you can only control 1 of it, so we're only going to play 2. Once again, you don't have to worry about consistency reasons because demons have a lot of search power, like we showed with the documents. This here is a once per turn effect. If you control a demon warrior that was originally your opponent's warrior, you get to draw a card. So that's crucial because it gives the control deck that demons need. It gives them the ability to draw an additional card every turn, and that's really beneficial when you need to have to discard cards to activate some of your effects. Once per turn, it also lets you pay 3 life and target a demon that was originally taken from your opponent's side of the field and give it +3 power. So it has the ability to push for damage and potentially end games in late game situations. So all of the cards we've shown off so far all come from the 2-player starter set. So now we're going to get onto the Ravaged Lands cards, and we're going to stick with the unified cards here. Then this is your most powerful unified card coming from Ravaged Lands, outside of your Exalted. So this here is your Advance of the Fallen Armies. Now this is the rare card. So it's a little harder to get in your booster box, but you should at least get 1, if not 2, when you open a booster box. The Advance of the Fallen Armies, the reason why it's so crucial is, once again, we're going to go back to that surge power we were talking about demons having. You play Bloodborne 6 and discard 2 cards. Once again, doesn't really have a cost when you have a discard mechanics. You search your deck for any 2 Fallen Demon Warriors and 2 Fallen Demon Unified cards. That's crucial. It has to be unified, and it can't search itself. But that's okay. As you can see here, we've already shown off there's 2 Bodis' Hellblade, 2 Rally of the Fallen. Those are both Fallen Unified cards, and we're going to get to some more here in a sec. Next, we have 3 copies of the Release of the Fallen Inner Demon. Once again, it's a Fallen Unified card, searchable by your Advance of the Fallen Armies. This here is a pay 4 life, and you target 1 warrior on the field. Take control of it till the end of the turn. It becomes a demon in addition to its other legion. As you can see, it's a reoccurring thing in this deck. This time, though, however, when you take control of it, you get +2 attack power to the targeted warrior, and the warrior can't be destroyed by card effects. So that's really crucial when you go to take one of your opponent's warriors, that they can't just immediately respond and destroy it. Then you have your 2 copies of Bow to the Fallen. Now, you only run this at 2 because it is a situational card. Its baseline effect is just deal X +1 damage to all warriors on a target player's side of the field, where X was the amount of demon cards you discarded from your hand this turn. So if you discarded 2 cards, which you do off of your Advance of the Fallen Armies, you activate this card, and it's going to deal 2 +1 damage, so 3 to all warriors on your opponent's side of the field. Now, in a situation, this can destroy a lot of token decks, but the crucial part is you actually play this because you want the secondary effect. Is the fact that if this card is discarded by a demon card, you can target 1 card in the field and take control of it until the end of the turn. It also becomes a demon in addition to its other legions. Now, crucially, you actually activate this at any point because this here is a triggered effect that goes into the discard pile and activates. So you can respond by discarding this off of a fortified card effect and still gain that discarded effect, which is really crucial when you're trying to steal things from your opponent when they're trying to put damage on board. Lastly, we're going to play a Fallen Flames Forever Flicker, and this is only a 1 of unified in the deck, and it's an active, and once again, you only need it to be 1 of because your dynamic search power in this deck. You can only use it with a Noxilus, conveniently the only warlord we have available right now anyways. And this is a once per turn. You can target 1 or more warriors, or originally opponent's warrior that's on your side of the field, and you reduce your damage counter max. So in this game, it means you heal. So you're going to heal equal to the original attack power of all the warriors you've stolen. So that's huge when you're having to pay so much life to take things, and now you can just regenerate it with 1 card. So you don't need to play multiple copies of this, 1 because you have your search power, and 2 because you can only control 1 face-up one. And really, it's a card that doesn't really help you if you don't have anything stolen. Next, we're going to move on to warriors. So, most demon players, as of right now, would argue the fact that demons don't need to play a lot of warriors. But in a situation where a lot of people know how to build around demons and don't put warriors on the field, we want to make sure that we do have warriors to play. Because if your opponent doesn't play anything, then neither of us are sitting there doing anything. So we want to make sure that we do have a little bit of damage output. And that starts off with your Mammon, the Fallen Angel of Greed. So this card actually comes from your 2-player starter set again. And this is a 1-power warrior with Retrieve. We all know how powerful Retrieve can be because it can target any unified or fortified card of the Legion that you play for and adds it back to hand. So any of those cards that you've already used this turn, any of those cards that you use to search cards, maybe they destroyed your only 1 of, you can get those cards back. And that's really crucial in a deck that requires you to have constant advantage as a control player. So next we move on to the 3 Nakors. So Nakor, the Maelstrom of the Fallen, is a really awesome card in this deck because first off, it's the only warrior that doesn't have an enter play ability, but that's okay because its perishability more than makes up for it. When this warrior dies, it targets a warrior on the field, takes control of it, and it becomes a demon until it's in addition to his other legions. Now that only lasts till the end of the turn, but that's okay because once again, you're stealing things, and this can trigger on your opponent's turn when they destroy it. So now they have to play around this card. Another thing the control player wants to do, change their battle strategy. Next, we got Nabas. So Nabas is absolutely a turning point in this deck, is the fact that some people argue that this is not as necessary, but I would definitely believe this is necessary. Because the demons pay so much life, and we only play the 1 Fallen Flames, this here as an enter play recover 5 is really, really nice when a Noxilus has to pay life to use her steal abilities, including her own. So this is an absolutely essential piece when you play it off of your Rally of the Fallen. We already shown that the Rally of the Fallen has the ability to just grab 2 Fallen Warriors from your deck, conscript them to your side of the field if you control 2 of your opponents, which is awesome because you can just bring in 2 of these and just heal 10 life. Definitely can swing a game. So next we have 3 Shade. So Shade is an interesting card to add in the deck from Ravaged Lands. Just by looking at him, he looks like a black magic card, but he's actually a Fallen. What really makes Shade so awesome in this deck is the fact that his corruptibility is the only one of its kind so far. And when he enters play, he can target a warrior on the field with the original attack of 2 or less. Once again, just like a Noxilus is, it has the original attack where she's the current attack. So this could be anything that's powered up. It doesn't matter as long as its base attack was 2. And it takes control of it for as long as Shade stays on the field. So yeah, it's something you might want to protect, but at the same time, it's something that you can just steal and keep moving forward. Lastly, we have the Low and Fallen Demon Imp. So straight away, he's a plunder warrior, and he's just a card that basically just gets you hand advantage when you need it in a deck that consistently requires you to discard cards. Moving on to the Fortifieds. We got 3 Moloch's Fallen Abomination. Now this is another card that comes from the 2-player starter set. So you have a Bloodborne of 6, and you target a warrior with the original attack of 3 or less. See, once again, it really matters. Even if they power up the warrior, you can still take it. This can take any token in the game outside of the hero one, and this allows you to take pretty much any powerful mechanic-based card and really benefit you. So you take control of and equip it with this card. It becomes a demon in addition to his other legions, like our reoccurring theme here. And the equipped warrior cannot be targeted by opponent's unified or fortified effects, which is pretty crucial when you're trying to change the course of how your opponent plays. Because it's a fortified, you can actually activate this in response to your opponent attacking, and you can steal not only the warrior that's attacking, but you can steal a warrior to defend yourself from an attack as well. So we move on to 2 Fallen Voice of Damnation. So this is a fortified that remains active, also comes from the 2-player starter set. So this card is first activated, you target one player. That player has to discard a card from their hand. So once again, it could be something to disrupt your opponent in the middle of their turn. But also it's something that can just discard a card from your hand and really pay dividends. I mean, you can discard a Bout of the Fallen and just steal something on your opponent's turn. But once per turn, otherwise, your opponent conscripts a warrior to their side of the field. You can discard a Fallen card from your hand and pay 8 life. Take control of that warrior. And that's a permanent steal on your opponent's turn. So, as you can see, we're just going to keep playing with our opponent's cards until they have nothing left to play. So, we have another card here from the 2-player starter set, Fall of the Fallen. So as long as this remains face-up on the field, all demon warriors on my side of the field are now treated as fallen demon warriors. So just in case you have any effects that require you to have fallen, even the demons that were originally your opponents that are now yours, all now become fallen, which is crucial when it comes to using mechanics that are based on only using fallen cards. But otherwise, once per turn, when an opponent activates an effect of a unified card, you can pay a Bloodborne for it, discard 1 Fallen, and negate the unified card. So it's a great card to have in a control matchup. The demons really need an extra negate. So moving on to the Ravaged Lands cards to help boost this deck. We have the Soul Feeding of the Fallen. And so Soul Feeding for the Fallen, when it's first activated, search your deck for any Fallen demon card added to your hand. So that's any card pretty much in the deck. So once again, this is great utility for a control deck, especially when you're playing on the back foot, because this is a card that's played on your opponent's turn. Also, once per turn, you can discard 1 card from your hand, pay 2 life, and target a warrior on the field, gain control of it till the end of the turn, it becomes a demon. So conveniently, this not only, when you first activate it, searches for a fallen demon card, but now once per turn, you can discard a card and take something. So if you have no cards in hand, this itself fuels itself, and you can now steal something. Then we move on to 3 Damned Bodies, Fallen Souls. So Damned Bodies, Fallen Souls is a really awesome card to have when your opponent's attacking you directly. In a situation where you don't have any warriors to steal, or you don't have any warriors of your own to defend you, you can pull 3 warrior cards from your opponent's discard pile, revive them to your side of the field, and they all become demons in addition to their other legions. But they all also have to become the new attack targets. So this actually gets around the Orc mechanic of being able to attack directly, or the Phoenix Flames cards that allow you to attack directly, because this forces your opponent to attack the targets that you revived. Otherwise, this has a great discard effect. If it's discarded by a demon card, you can deal 3 damage to a target warrior. So it's just enough chip damage that might be able to stop a big explosive play, or be able to take out a warrior. Then we have our 3 Fallen Brimstone Sky. So this is a fortified card that remains active, and when it's first activated, you draw 2 cards and discard a card. So this really benefits the demon strategy of discarding a card from a demon effect, but also keeps your hand advantage. Once per turn, you can discard a demon card from your hand, pay 2 life, and target a unified or fortified on the field, destroy it. Once again, this feeds itself because it gives you an additional card in hand. So it's another great top deck card if you're on the back foot. If not, this card is also, when it's destroyed by a card effect, or discarded from your hand by a demon card effect, you can draw 1 card, and then target a player must discard a card. So you can draw 1 and make your opponent discard 1, or you can draw 1, discard something, and trigger one of your demon effects. So then we have our Enrage the Fallen Evil. So Enrage the Fallen Evil, we play it as a 2 right now, and it's basically, it can be, this is the card that you would firstly sideboard out into some matchups. But we mainboard it just because the fact that it can target a demon warrior you control and give it +6 power. So straight away, this is something that's going to let your demons stay on board, especially the ones that you've taken off of the Moloch's Abomination that already can't be targeted by opponent's card effects. Now you just can give it +6 and it can survive a little longer, or really push through for damage back to your opponent. This is a fortified, so it only lasts to the end of the turn. So you don't get the +6 on your turn, but that's okay. If this card is discarded from your hand by a demon card effect, you can pay 6, target 1 warrior on the field, destroy the targeted warrior, and draw a card. If that is not something a control player would want, I don't know what is. Then lastly, we play 3 copies of Dragged into the Hell Plains. Now this is not a Fallen card, and I believe it's the only non-Fallen card in the deck, but just because it's a Hell Plains doesn't mean you don't play it. Bloodborne 2 is a small cost. It's additional card cost to play this card. You have to discard a demon card, but as you can see, we don't really care so much about that. Not only with our hand advantage with our search power, but our discard mechanics alone will give us benefits off of that. You target one warrior on the field and 1 demon warrior in your discard pile. Now we do play enough that this is going to value. Destroy the targeted warrior on the field, so you just straight up destroy one of your opponent's guys, and you can now revive one of your demon warriors. Once again, we've gone over the fact that most of your demon warriors in here have an enter play ability, so this will trigger those enter play abilities. If you really need to heal life in a pinch, you want to put your guy into play that when he dies, he steals something, or you can just retrieve something for your next turn. Lastly, it also is if it's discarded by a demon card effect, you can pay 4 life, target 1 demon unified card in your discard pile, add it back to your hand. So if you're really trying to push for big damage next turn, or you want to add back your card that's going to let you search on your next turn, this is something you really want to have in your hand and pitch early if you don't have something that you need to destroy on the field. So other than that, this demon list puts it at a very comfortable 50 cards. And demons in a controlled deck, they really want to have, they don't want to max out at 60. They want to keep that 50 card pool to be able to access everything they need and make their search cards that much more valuable. Otherwise, Anoxalis herself is quite a powerful warlord, being able to use this at instant speed to steal something. She's got a lot of battle tricks, and this is a deck tech that can hopefully put demons in a situation where you might want to play it going into a tournament. But other than that, thanks for watching.